Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. We're really excited to have Carol Dell with us today from Comcast. She is a recruiter, and she's going to give us some tips on what recruiters look for on your LinkedIn pages, and generally what do recruiters look for when they're trying to find someone to invite to apply to a job. I won't make any more assumptions about what this presentation will be, but I would like to take a minute to invite all of the youth to take turns introducing yourselves. Say your name, what school you go to, and what year you are in school. That would be great. So actually, let's just for ease, I'm going to go down the list of people who are here alphabetically. We also have some of our Keys AmeriCorps members with us, so let's all introduce ourselves, okay? So Abby, would you like to start?
Sure. Hi, I'm Abby. I'm an AmeriCorps Keys member, and I am currently a rising junior at Williams College in Western Massachusetts.
Anthony Jackson, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Anthony Jackson. I go to Propel Montour High School, and I'm going to the 10th grade.
Thanks, Anthony. And everybody also, if you are able to turn on your camera so we can see your beautiful faces, that would be awesome. Don't forget that this is sort of like level 10 exuding professionalism for the week. So if you can make sure you're sitting up, make sure you don't have like blankets, like you're looking really casual, that type of thing, that'd be great. And if your camera doesn't work, just let me know. I know that that can be an issue. Brett, your turn.
Hi, Carol. My name is Brett Cersei. I am a rising senior at Geneva College in Beaver Falls, PA, and I'm an electrical engineering major.
Thank you. Malze, you're next.
Hi, my name is Malze. I go to Northside Urban Pathways, and I'm in the 10th grade.
Mariah, you're next.
I'm next to do what?
Oh, just say hi, say your name and where you go to school and what grade you're in. Mariah? Mariah, can you hear me? Okay. Miss Marina, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, everybody. I'm Marina. I am also a AmeriCorps Keys member.
Oh, hi, my name is Mariah.
I graduated.
I am about to be 16 years old.
Wait. Okay.
You can finish, Marina. I think Mariah's lagging, yeah.
So I graduated from business school a couple of years ago, but I just moved to the US. So I'm very excited to hear this because I basically have to start my professional life all over again. So they'll be helpful.
Mariah, let's take a minute to give Mariah, if she's lagging. Mariah, you can introduce yourself, or you can put it in the chat box and I'll read it if that's easier. But if you can speak, that's best for everybody. Mesa, if you want to go ahead and go next.
My name is Mesa, and I am going to 11th grade. I'm hoping that's all we had to say.
And Mariah says she is 16 and goes to Propel Montour. We're just going to keep rolling. Monet, can you please introduce yourself?
I'm Monet. I go to City High, and I'll be in 10th grade next year.
Nice. Nevaeh, can you please introduce yourself? Nevaeh Brookins.
My name is Nevaeh, and I'm 15, and I go to Nazareth Prep. Wait, that's my new school I'm going to.
And Nevaeh Pierce, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Nevaeh. I go to McKeesport High School, and I'm in 10th grade.
Awesome. Tehran, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Tehran. I go to Obama Academy, and I'm going to 11th grade.
Thank you. And Mr. Tyree, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Tyree. I go to Obama Academy, and I'm 14.
Awesome. And Carol, you can go ahead and take it away.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I'm really excited, and it's good to see all your faces. So like Emily said, my name is Carol Dell, and I'm a recruiter at Comcast. And I'm not sure if you know what a recruiter does, so I just want to kind of let you know first. We are part of the Human Resources Department, and I will be the person that you talk to when you apply for a position. So basically, you apply for a job, I'll review your application, and then I'll be the person that picks up the phone and calls you. And I will talk to you about the position, tell you about the job duties, tell you about the hours, the location, the most, the important thing like pay and our wonderful benefits. I'll fill you in on the Comcast culture. And then I'll talk to you about what you're looking for, about your background, about your skill set and things like that. And then if it's a good fit, what we'll do then is we schedule an interview for you to meet with one of the hiring managers. And if that goes well and they want to extend an offer, I would be the person that would extend the offer to you. So I basically take you until your first day of employment with Comcast. So that's what a recruiter does. And that's why LinkedIn is really important to me. And I get really excited about it because there's so many cool things that we can do on LinkedIn. So if anytime you have any questions, just put it in the chat. And then I'll answer them. I'm going to go through the presentation. And then at the end, what I'll do is I'm going to actually show you my LinkedIn page and we can kind of go through some things on there. Okay. So we can go to the next slide. So the agenda for today is we're going to talk about what is LinkedIn, why you should use LinkedIn, how to create your profile and some things you should and shouldn't do on your profile, the summary that you can put on your profile. And then we'll go over some social media tips. And then a really cool QR code. That's how you can actually connect with me. Then I'll go into my LinkedIn page and then we'll open it up to questions. Okay. So next slide. So what is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a free professional networking site. And it's been around since 2006. And I've actually been on LinkedIn since 2006. So I've been on it for many, many years. And it's a really great way for you to put all of your contacts in a Rolodex, because as you grow and you grow your career, you tend to forget things. And this is a great way to keep in touch with people. Like, for example, for today, you'll be able to connect with me on LinkedIn if you have a LinkedIn profile. And 2 or 3 years from now, when you apply for a job, maybe with Comcast, you can say, oh, I know Carol. I can connect with her and I can ask her, what the job's about, what the location is, and things like that. So it's a really great tool to keep all of your contacts in one place. So both recruiters and employers use LinkedIn. We use it to source candidates. So I can basically put in keyword search on my LinkedIn page and say something like, manager of retail. And it'll pop up a list of maybe, 20, 30 people that I'm looking for. And I'll be able to reach out to them to see if they're interested in the job I have. Or if I have a job that I'm looking for people, I can actually post it on LinkedIn, and I do use it a lot. So it's a great way to build your career, your network, your career networking and professional development. All right, next slide, please. So why use LinkedIn? So I'm going to ask a question to all of you if you want to put it in the chat. Does anybody know the population of the United States? Any guesses? Oh, 300 million. Who said 300 million? That's pretty close. It's actually 326 million. And I want you to keep that number in mind when we go to the next slide, okay? Next slide, Em. So LinkedIn currently has over 610 million members. That's double the population of the United States. So think about how many people around the world are using LinkedIn. Like, that's a really big number. The network has 303 million active monthly users. So this is really important because people actually use LinkedIn. So that's what I want you to think about. People are using LinkedIn, and why are they using it? 92% of Fortune 500 companies use LinkedIn. 97% of business-to-business marketers use LinkedIn as a content distribution channel. So that's how they showcase their products. And in 2016, LinkedIn users published 130,000 posts monthly. That's a really big number. It just shows you how people are using it. LinkedIn is responsible for 80% of the business-to-business leads from social media. It's the world's largest network on the internet. And you can use LinkedIn to connect and strengthen professional relationships and learn skills that you need to succeed in your career. So next slide, please. So let's get started in talking about your LinkedIn profile. You know what? You can create a profile just like you would on Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that. But one thing you want to keep in mind is LinkedIn is a professional network. So there's some things that you want to make sure that you do. You want to make sure that your name's spelled correctly. You want to make sure that your email address is current and that your phone number is current, because if people reach out to you, they want to be able to connect with you, okay? You want to add your education. You want to look at LinkedIn as your online resume that'll continue with you throughout your career. So you can constantly add or update your education, your job history, any volunteer work people do. I don't think people realize this, but if you're doing volunteer work, you might be doing a skill that you wouldn't normally do with a job that you have, but you can transfer that skill. I volunteer for Pet Friends, and I do fundraising for them. Now, I don't do that at Comcast, but if I apply for a new job within Comcast that needs some sort of skill like that, I can actually say, yes, I have the experience in that. So volunteer work's really important. Any type of clubs that you belong to in school, you want to add that onto your LinkedIn profile. If you're bilingual, any second languages, definitely add that onto your profile. Any sports that you're involved in. You want to look at your LinkedIn profile that you're taking it from point A, that you can grow all the way to point Z at some point. A couple of the things you want to keep in mind is you want to keep your LinkedIn profile public. Now, I know on certain social media you can, put a private so people can't look up things, but you want to keep your LinkedIn profile public because that's how we're going to find you when you go to look for a job. And the other thing is your headshot. Now, I know Joe touched on this last week when she talked about social media. So just keep in mind that, you're 11 times more likely for people to reach out to you if you have a picture on your LinkedIn. And you want to make sure it's a professional picture. And that doesn't mean that you have to go and get a professional headshot done. That means is we don't want you to have a picture of you with your brother and sister on there, or a picture of you with your dog and your cat. We don't want it to be a selfie. So have somebody take your picture, make it be shoulder up, and just make sure you have like a collared shirt on or something, just so that it looks professional, because that'll speak volumes when people look up your profile. Okay? So we can go to the next slide.
Oh, and Carol, I was just going to add really quickly. So we started working on resumes this week. And as you already said, LinkedIn is sort of like a virtual resume. Don't forget that Learn and Earn through Boys and Girls Club is technically both a job and a training program. So you can also put that on your LinkedIn.
That is such a great call out. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. You want to put that on your LinkedIn. And then on LinkedIn also, we can put a summary. So the summary page on your LinkedIn is on your profile page. It's kind of like your elevator pitch. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with your elevator pitch, but it's when you meet somebody and you get like 45 seconds to a minute to introduce yourself, saying, hi, I'm Carol Dell. I'm a recruiter with Comcast. I've been with the company for 3 years. And I've been in recruiting for over 20 years. So something quick like that, you can actually put that on your summary. And the summary is important because when we do our searches, we're going to do keyword searches and we're going to look for certain things. So what you put in your summary could pop up in our search. Tell us who you are. How can we contact you? Why we should hire you? What are your core competencies? I'm an energetic team player, things like that you want to add on there. You want to make sure you add your email and that your email's current. It's really tough as a recruiter is when I go to reach out to somebody and I can't get in touch with them. So always make sure that information is up to date, okay? And then the next thing you want to do is make sure you use proper capitalization grammar. Have somebody else take a look at your profile just to make sure everything on there is correct. Okay? Next slide. So social media, some things that you want to consider. First of all, always remember whatever you put on social media today is going to be there the rest of your life. And people do look at it when you apply for jobs. I do. When I'm looking for people, we always look at their social media. So, keep in mind, what are you posting on social media? What are you liking? What are you sharing? What are you commenting on? Who are you following? What are you following? And then again, the privacy settings. Make sure that on your LinkedIn profile, you make sure you set it as public. Okay, so the next slide that I want to go to is something, just think before you post on any social media. Make sure it's true. Make sure it's helpful. Make sure it's inspirational. Is it necessary? And most of all, is it kind? Think once before you act. Think twice before you speak. And think 3 times before you post on social media, because it will be there forever. So don't always remember that. It's so important, because I can't tell you how many times that people have found things on social media and they're like, oh, do we really want to hire that person? So you want to keep those types of things in mind. All right, so now that we kind of went over LinkedIn, I'm going to go to the next slide. And this is my QR code. So if you guys want to take a picture of my QR code, feel free to. And when you open up a LinkedIn profile, all you have to do is scan that in and you'll be connected with me automatically. Are there any questions on the presentation before we move on to, we can kind of play around with my LinkedIn so you can kind of see it?
I'm curious, Carol, if you can share any stories. I think like making it very, oh, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, great. I think making it very real for students. If there is maybe not like the most egregious thing that you've ever not hired someone for on social media, but could you give maybe just an anecdote of like a time that you found something that you made you pause and say, maybe I don't want to hire this person, if you're comfortable?
One of the biggest things that I've come across is somebody, I get the resume and we go through the interview and we ask certain questions. And then we get to the point, well, you know what, we want to offer this person a job. I go and look on their LinkedIn profile and it doesn't match up. So I run across things like that. And I will tell you, if we're able to see things on Facebook, I mean, there are some things on Facebook that just, if you're looking for a job, somehow take it down, because there were pictures of doing things, of partying and things like that, you know what, your future employer doesn't want to see those types of things. So just kind of keep those things in mind. The cuss words and the swearing and things like that. If we see a lot of, you don't want to have that on social media. You don't want your future employer to see things like that. So like I said, just be conscious of what you're putting on there, because we can look at it and we will, and you just want to be careful. And there's a lot of other worse stories that I don't really want to get to, but yeah, it's amazing what people don't think about.
Well, and I bring it up.
I was just thinking, one of the other things that LinkedIn does that I forgot to mention, you can actually join groups. So like you can join groups about the job you're looking for, or about the company you you already work for, or the school you've gone to, Boys and Girls Club. You can look for groups to join on there. I was in the Navy, so I join a lot of Navy groups and a lot of veteran groups. It kind of just gives you an idea of what's going on in the world, and you can maybe connect with people. It just expands your network a little bit. And another thing LinkedIn has is LinkedIn Learning, and this is kind of cool because you can actually take classes. So one of my professional development pieces with Comcast was to improve my written communication skills. So I'm actually taking classes through LinkedIn Learning right now to help me with my writing skills. So and it's free. So there's a lot of cool things that come along with LinkedIn.
Very cool. Also, Nevaeh asks, oh yeah,
Snapchat.
Check Snapchat.
That's one of the social medias that I don't do, but we do have recruiters that I work with that are in a different generation that they use it all the time. So you know what, I can find that answer out for you. But I personally, I don't use Snapchat and I don't know how to use it, but I can definitely find out for you to see what they can see. And because I'm not real sure how that one works.
Yeah, and I bring it up too because I get a lot of questions from youth, right? Sort of trying to understand, why do employers care so much? And so just to kind of drive home the point, you know, if you're online doing things that aren't age appropriate, right? So some people post pictures of them doing things that aren't legal for them to be doing at that age, right? And it just makes a company question, you know, so if this person gets hired by me and then on their Facebook they write, oh, I work for Comcast, and then you know, they're posting these types of pictures. Now you represent Comcast.
Yes.
Because your profile literally says you work for Comcast, and also you're posting pictures of, you know, things that Comcast doesn't want to be associated with their name. So that's why you have to be you have to have good decision making. And so sort of like, you know, Nevaeh, to your point, when in doubt, if you're not sure that your employer would like it, then maybe don't post it that time, right?
Yeah, and that's why I put that one slide up there, you know, think 3 times before you post, you know, be conscious of what you're liking, what you're sharing, because you're young and I mean, trust me, I remember when I was your age and we didn't have this when I was your age, but now it's there and, you know, it's going to be there forever, you know, the pictures and just things like that. And you know what, and it's in a good way too, because it'll also, you know, it shows good things. So let's not go away from that. You know, social media is great. You know, you can show your community outreach. You can show your, you know, things you do with your family and your hobbies and your sports and things like that, which is also good. So it's just not all negative. Just be careful before you put something up there. If you have to think about putting it up there, you probably shouldn't. Any other questions? All right, so I'm going to try to bring up my LinkedIn profile here. Give me a second.
Awesome.
All right, great. So when I open up my LinkedIn, this is the page that you'll see. So you can see right now that I have some notifications up here. What I want to do is I want to start with my profile. So this is my profile right here. So I'm going to click on this and then we'll go through everything else. So it shows on there, talent acquisition, Comcast, Keystone Region. You scroll down, that's my summary. But what I want to show you is like right here, the dashboard. It shows that 117 people viewed my profile this week. They viewed 22 of my posts and I showed up in 34 search appearances. And then as you scroll down, it'll show you all of your activity. And I'm going to go to this because there's a couple things I want to point out. So it shows all the activity. So Comcast has an app on our cell phones that corporate makes the posts, and then we can just share them onto LinkedIn and Instagram and Twitter. But I want to show you some of my posts because there's a couple things I want to point out that are kind of important. We do something called Talent Tuesday once a month as part of my job. And this I posted on LinkedIn, but I want to show you this. 1,861 people viewed that post. So that's why I want to put out there, people look at what you put on social media. So and especially on LinkedIn. So you want to kind of keep that in mind. Now, this is great for Comcast and for me because I know people are looking at what I put on there and I'm trying to build my brand. So this is a great way for me to build my brand is to put things on LinkedIn so people see what I'm doing as a recruiter and how I'm contributing to Comcast and to the company. And if you go over to network, it'll show you, like I said, I've been on LinkedIn for many years. I have a lot. I have 2,577 connects right now. So, and this is good for me because when I'm looking for a position, I can post it on LinkedIn or I can do searches. I have a lot of people to pick from, right?
And shout out to Brett who already sent you a request on LinkedIn.
Oh, I do. Do I have one? I have to,
Yeah, the very first one from Brett.
Awesome.
Brett
So
Monet.
this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to accept it. I love it. Awesome. Very cool. So that's what I was going to go through. On your notifications, it'll show people that viewed my profile, people that liked my post, and then connections and things like that. And then it does other things, you know, like people's birthdays and those types of things. One cool thing is with messaging, and I use this a lot because, you know, my job is to talk to people and to, you know, find people a new job. So with messaging now on the mobile app, you can actually just talk into it and it'll send the message instead of you having to type it up. So it's a new tool that LinkedIn started, and it's one of my favorites. And then what was a couple of the other things that I wanted to show you guys? It'll also show you once you complete on any of the LinkedIn learning, it'll show up on there that you took it. Let me get back to this part. So did you use my QR code to connect, or did you find me, Brett?
I just found you.
Oh, okay. All right. I want to make sure the QR code worked. So, and then you can see, like, here's some of my job history. Oh yeah, see here, these are some of the classes that I took. It'll show up on your LinkedIn profile. And then you can ask people to recommend you and endorse you. So there's a lot of different things that you can do on LinkedIn. Like I said, I use it daily. You know, it's a big tool that I use for my job, and it's very helpful for me. And then you can see, like it says, new post. You can just kind of see what people are posting up there. Anybody have any questions? Don't be shy. Ask anything. Hopefully I can answer it. So Marina, I know that you just moved here, and so I definitely, you know what, I would definitely recommend you get a LinkedIn profile together, because you'll get your name out there to so many people, and put your job history and everything on there. I think that'll definitely help you find a job quicker.
Yeah, I just translated everything to English, and then I updated most of it, but I think I still need some more. I'll add you soon.
Yeah.
Carol, I was going to ask for those of our youth who maybe have not used LinkedIn before, can you talk a little bit about, I guess I'm thinking especially of like Facebook, because like LinkedIn looks a little bit similar to Facebook, right? But how should we think of it differently, or how can we use it in a similar way?
It's very similar to Facebook, except one key thing, it's a professional network. So I can't stress this enough. You know, what you put on Facebook, you don't put on LinkedIn. And it's interesting because of COVID, because so many people are working from home now, and people are doing so many, everybody's at home. So there's more personal things showing up on LinkedIn these days, but I think it's just because of the time that we're in. But, on Facebook, you might put on there, you're going on vacation, or, I don't know, you went out to dinner or something like that. Those things you don't want to put on LinkedIn. Just, like I said, you want to make sure you always sound professional on LinkedIn. You always want to keep it geared towards your career and how it could, help your career in the future. And even like with LinkedIn, it's, you can like things, you don't get friend requests on LinkedIn, you get connections, but you also, with LinkedIn, you can like things, you can forward things, you can share things, you can comment on things just like LinkedIn. It's very similar to Facebook, but it's a professional network, not for personal use. Okay, so the classes. Okay, so if you the classes, you can just go in and do a search. And I do believe you have to be 16 to be to even belong to LinkedIn.
That's right.
But if you go up to search, you can do, you can search for a class that you want. So mine's set up a little differently because I have LinkedIn Recruiter. It's something that the company pays for. So I can't, I have access to everything. So if you go under search, I don't even know if it'll work, but we can let's just do, if it'll show up on here. Yeah, so you see how it goes, sum up LinkedIn Learning results for writing classes? So you can just do a search of what you want and then pick from there. And once you complete the course, it'll show up on your LinkedIn page that you completed it. Does that answer your question, Abigail? Okay, great.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
So Carol, so as a recruiter, how do people like interact with you at Comcast if they're interested about learning about jobs, or like, do you do the type of recruiting, you know, those messages that you sometimes get about like, you would be great for this, you know, program that we have at such and such university. Do you use LinkedIn for that at all? Like reaching out to potential candidates?
Yeah, let me, our hiring has slowed down a little bit because of COVID right now, but let me go into my, I probably have like several down here. I'm just trying to find. Here's somebody that I actually was recruiting. So you can see that I originally, I originally sent him a message and he responded to me, thank you for reaching out to me. And, you know, I spoke with so-and-so. Again, I use LinkedIn Recruiter, so a lot of this stuff would be under there. So this one, I don't know if you can see that this person, Alice, I reached out to her and said, Comcast Business has a great opportunity in our enterprise team in Harrisburg. Would you be interested in hearing more? So I will go in her, and probably how I found her is I went in here and I did a search. I could do enterprise account executives. So this is how I would start off. And then it would give me a list of all the LinkedIn members. And you can see there's many, many pages. And then I would just go through them one by one and see who's local or see who has the background I'm looking for. And then I would reach out to them. And there's different ways to do it through my network also. Like I said, mine's a little different because I have LinkedIn Recruiter. So it's, I'm not sure if it's on regular LinkedIn anymore, if it can do it the same way.
Yeah, just kind of wondering, you know, from your perspective, how you go about doing that. Now, what if the youth wanted to use LinkedIn to network and to like reach out to someone and say, hey, I'd be really interested in working with you? How would you suggest that they go about that?
I would suggest that if they're a connection already, just go into message and just send them a message. Just say, hey, I saw that you do this at ABC company. I'd love to learn more about it. Do you have some time that we could connect? Or another way is go into groups and say it's with Comcast. Go in and find Comcast groups and join the groups. And that way it's more of a, you know, like how we're talking today as a group, there's more shared information that way. But never be afraid, you know, LinkedIn is a professional network, so never be afraid to reach out to somebody and ask them for help or ask them a question on their position. I get questions all the time, like how can I become a recruiter, or you know, how can I get a job at Comcast? As simple as that. And it just starts the conversation. And then, you know, I can connect with them through LinkedIn and then have, you know, pick them up the phone and talk to them and have a more in-depth conversation on what they're looking for and if it's something that that we recruit for here at Comcast. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
So how many of you have a LinkedIn profile already? Okay, so I'll expect everybody to connect with me. And you can either do it through the QR code, but that only works on the app on the phone. It doesn't work on the desktop version of LinkedIn. But there's so many, you know, and just go in and play with it. And, you know, once you connect with me, if you have any questions on anything, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help you. You know, if I don't know the answer, I have, you know, 6 or 7 other coworkers I can ask. And I will ask one of them about Snapchat because that would be good for something for me to know for the future too. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
So it's not on the summary, maybe, I don't know how it's called, maybe title, whenever you put Comcast recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
For example, if someone never worked before or if you're in between jobs, what would you recommend putting in?
Well, You know, that's a really great question. And it's something you want to have it catchy. I used to have on mine, are you passionate about your customer experience? Because I was looking for a lot of salespeople. So I wanted people to see my first thing to say, you know, when they see me, are you passionate about customer experience? Because I didn't want them to know that I was a recruiter right away. So, you know, you can change that. So I'm not sure what your work history is or what you're looking to do, but, you know, you can put things on there like, you know, your story is your biggest strength. You know, something catchy. If you don't have an actual title, like if you are currently working, I would recommend it be your title. But if you're looking for work, you know, it can be really anything that what you're about. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm going to look up. So I have a coworker. Let me pull hers up because I want to show you how hers is. You guys can see it. See, she doesn't have her title. She says your story is your greatest asset. So that's what I mean. You can go in and don't be afraid to look up people's profiles and kind of see what they have to help you along with it. And then in adult, Google it.
Yeah, I don't know why sometimes I don't like whenever like how in LinkedIn you can see whoever goes into your profile, but I'll do it. It's okay.
Yeah, well, you know what? You actually can set it at private, but then again, you're going to limit yourself to searches when people are looking for people. So if people are looking at your profile, that means they're interested. So that's always a good thing. Or, you know, I mean, so kind of look at it, it's a good thing. I mean, LinkedIn, I mean, Sierra's probably going to say to me, why were you looking at my LinkedIn profile today? And I'm going to say, because you were part of my presentation. So like I said, it's good. It's a professional network. So whatever you put on there, you should be open to anybody seeing. That makes sense? There shouldn't be any, if it's something you're worried, if you know, you always have that second thought like, oh, I don't know if I want them to see that, then don't put it on there. But it opens up so many doors. It really does. And maybe not for today, but next year or 5 years. I mean, it's, you know, LinkedIn's going to be around for a long time because so many people use it and companies use it, you know, to advertise their products. And you can connect LinkedIn with Instagram now. And just, there's so many different things that are, you know, with digital technology that are happening. So I definitely recommend to put your information out there. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and I can walk you through it step by step if there's anything you're not sure of.
Thank you, Carol. That's awesome. Joe said the same thing last week, you know, whenever the youth are starting to create their profiles, that she would be happy to, you know, give them a look and say, hey, here's a recommendation for how to edit it. I do have one more question for you. If nobody else, does anybody else have questions about LinkedIn specific? How to use LinkedIn? Okay. Carol, I wonder if you just wanted to take a couple minutes to talk about how you got into your recruiting and into your current position and just tell youth a little bit about your career.
Sure. I'm going to stop presenting. So, so I graduated high school in 1981. And 2 months after I graduated, I went to South America as an exchange student. So I lived in Potosi, Bolivia for a year because I wanted to go to school to be a Spanish teacher. That was my goal. So when I came back after a year of being down there, I learned so much about a different culture and life that I came back and I thought, I don't want to be a teacher. And then I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So I joined the Navy because I thought at least I could travel. So it was interesting when I was in the Navy, I did telecommunications. And, you know, Comcast is a telecommunications company. While you're in the Navy, while you're in the military, you know, you can go to school for free and things like that. So that helped me out. I got out of the Navy. I did 4 years. And when I got out of the Navy, I got into sales. So I was selling credit-related products to car dealerships and banks across the country. And I was living in Syracuse, New York at the time. Well, they wanted to open up a territory out west and in Nevada, Utah, and Idaho. So I volunteered. They sent me out there. 3 years after I moved out there, we got bought out, unfortunately, and we all lost our jobs. So here I am, just bought a house in Las Vegas. My son was 10 years old at the time. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I had the opportunity. I interviewed with a couple companies, and I started working for a staffing company. And I was doing outside sales for them. I was actually calling on companies for them to use us for temporary employment. So I did that for a couple years. And then I got more into the executive search side, where I was recruiting for accounting, construction people. And I did that for the bulk of my career. And in 2012, I moved back to Pittsburgh because it was time to me to be closer by family. You know, you start reflecting on your life and you're like, you want to be closer by family. My sister still lives here and my nephews and everything. So I moved back here, and, you know, I got a job with an employment agency here when I first moved back. And somebody that I worked with went to work for Comcast. And I got a call from with the manager and just said, hey, I heard I got your name from so-and-so. Would you be interested in a corporate recruiting job? And I'm like, I don't know. I like the sales job because you can make your own commission and you kind of like, you know, run your own schedule and things like that. But the more I talked to her, the more I fell in love with Comcast. I mean, I had Comcast products. I had, you know, their internet and their TV, but I didn't realize how huge Comcast was. And the Comcast bought NBC Universal. And what really perked my interest with Comcast is they give me the flexibility, number one, to do things like this. Like, this is huge. I do a lot of veteran outreach because like I said earlier, I'm a Navy veteran, and it just makes me feel good. So it's a part of the human resources department, and I really don't have a lot of the HR background, but the recruiting end of it. But I've been with Comcast for almost 3 years, and I love the company, and more importantly, I love what I do. Like, I get to help. I have the happiest job because I get to get people jobs. I'm not like, everybody always laughs at me. I'm just like, I have the best job in the world. Like, I get to offer people jobs. I get to, and internally, I get to help people move into their next job, which is kind of cool for me too. So I can sit there and somebody starts off at our retail store and they want to do something else. Like, I'll sit down with them and we'll put a game plan together on how they can get to that next job, because Comcast, and you guys will learn in the next session, we have so many wonderful benefits. I mean, one of the things I want you guys to know is we have tuition reimbursement. You can go to college for free. I mean, it's huge. So along with so many other perks and benefits, and I'm very passionate about my job. I love what I do. I love talking to everybody. And it's such a great feeling when I can, I offer somebody a job and it changes their life. So yeah. Does that answer it? I know
Absolutely.
I went off on different tangents because I get very excited about it.
Thank you so much. No, I think that really, I love that you shared all that, because I love, the idea that I say to youth, which I don't know, I don't work closely with everybody in this call, but what I like to say is, not every lawyer like graduated high school, went to college, went to law school, and then became a lawyer, right? Like, your career path, you don't have to just like have everything figured out right away, and you can try different things, and people change jobs all the time, like on average every 5 years or something. So I love that you shared all that, and thank you so much.
Yeah, and that's so true. What you might want to do today might not what we end up doing, or what you want to do in 5 years. I mean, as you grow and you learn things and your experiences, it definitely opens up your eyes to different opportunities and passions. Do something that you're passionate about. It makes life a lot easier, because you know what? Once you start working, you're going to be working, that's going to be most of your time. So do something that you love.
True. And thank you for helping us figure out how to do that by using LinkedIn. We really appreciate it. And again, appreciate your offer to help anyone out who is creating their profile. That's invaluable, because not something that I have a bunch of experience with. But yeah, Carol, thank you so much for your time today, and for talking with us and spending Friday afternoon with us.
Thank you so much for having me, and I wish all of you the best of luck. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, okay?
Thank you.
You guys have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you, too.
Thanks.
For all